You've been an inspiration to many, champion both in the ring as well as a champion of perseverance for your ability to push through some of the darkest times. You lost 3 of your sons and your first wife to suicide. Your sons all struggled with addictions to heroin. Do you think you would have survived these devastations in your life if you had not been a fighter? How did being a fighter extend?
I have no idea what it's like not to be a fighter. You know, I have no idea. All I know is I was a fighter, and I think does fighting make you stronger mentally? I would say yes. I would think so. I mean, it would make sense to me. I mean, I don't. I mean, because when you train hard, you push yourself. When you train hard, you go past the fatigue factor, pain factor. You have to struggle past pain and all those kind of things. Does that make you stronger? I guess it does. You know, it's kind of like I think about young people today as opposed to the people who in the Second World War. I say to myself, if I had to pick guys from which generation, who would I pick to defend ourselves in this country? Would I pick guys born in the 30s and 40s, or would I pick guys born in the 80s or 90s? I think I go for the guys born in the 30s and 40s, the Second World War guys. I think people were a tougher group back then. I think they were less spoiled. Today, people are softer. People are softer. I think they're mentally softer than people of another era when you're talking like a young guy, I would say of my parents' generation. You know.
What do you think's changed? Why do you think that is?
Well, everything is more comfortable. Everything is like today is like everybody has to be satisfied quickly. Everything has to be, whether it's a camera, it's got to be, it's got to be done right away. You can see your picture right away. You can't take it to Photoshop and see it a week later. It's got to be right away. Everything's got to be right away. So we're all kind of spoiled in that way. Everything's right away. There's fast food right away. There's nothing, you know what I mean? Everything is like, nothing's in slow motion anymore. Everything's like faster, 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 bigger, faster, now, quicker. You know, everything's like, we're all kind of spoiled that way. It's kind of, and even in bodybuilding, I hate to say it like that, but you see some guys on steroids, everything got to be quicker and faster, and you know what I mean? The quicker and faster it is, the better it is. The quicker and faster it is, speaks more of that lifestyle, speaks more of modern living. And I think when you really have to fight hard for things, it does toughen your mind, you know, and like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I think it was Nietzsche said that, you know, as he goes through some tough times, and life was tougher then, you know. Everything's quick today. Everything's better in a lot of ways. Materially, it's a lot better, but I think something is lost in all that quickness, all that hurry up stuff, and give me the thing. I want to see it right now, right away. I want to eat right now, right away. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait for things. You don't have to discipline yourself. I think there's something lost in all that. I think there's something undeveloped in all that in the modern generation, I think.
So what got you through that time, George?
Well, what is getting me through that time? That's what it is. Because I always say, up to now I'm okay. I don't know what I'll be like tomorrow or even later today. I just know what helped get me by so far. And and just because things happen crazy, it doesn't mean that it keeps happening. Doesn't mean all of a sudden you turn around. Like I turned around and I got married. Actually, I'm celebrating my anniversary with my wife today. 17 years. And yeah, thank you. And if it wasn't, to be honest with you, I hate to say it this way. I feel like it's almost blasphemous to say it in a way. I hate to say it. You can lose 3 sons. You can never replace 3 sons. I don't care how many more children I would have, how many more grandchildren I would have. You can't replace your sons. But in a way, you can replace a wife to some degree, you know. And I don't like saying that. It feels hurtful for me to say that. But my wife, my second wife, has replaced my first wife in a lot of ways. That void that was so empty at one time has been filled to a large degree. So, you know, and I'm just being truthful, you know. And that doesn't mean that that I didn't care about my wife. That doesn't mean that you don't still love people, you know. But I'm just saying the truth, and I know it's the truth. I know, and I don't have to talk to anybody else about that. But I know what it is. You can never replace your lost children. Never. And I have a tear in my eye every day for them. It always happens. I think about them. throughout the course of that 1,000,000 times, it seems like. But and they can't be replaced. But it's just like me. If I died, I could say to my wife, if she got married again, I'd be replaced to a large degree, and I can understand that, and that doesn't bother me to even think that. But when I think about my first wife, I feel it isn't like I didn't love her, which I did. But I mean, there's time goes by, and I guess you meet other people, and things happen. And my second wife happened to be the most perfect person for me at that time. She was very thoughtful. She also lost a child, a baby, to SIDS, and she has 2 other children. But anyway, she understood me probably a lot better than most people would because of her own particular experience. And we got along really well. And I probably got along better. I probably get along better with her than I did with anybody, any female ever before. Really, to be honest with you. I mean, it's funny. Like, it doesn't mean I didn't love my first wife, which I did. But I'm just saying, personality-wise, at least as an older person, I'm a better husband now than I was before for a number of reasons. And when you're young, you get married young. It's different. When you get married a little older, second time around, you're a little wiser. And I think I'm a better husband than I was with my first wife, with all due respect. And it being that way, and being a better husband has made me get along with my wife a little better. And if there were any problems in my marriage initially, I'd say it'd be more my fault than my wife's fault. More my fault initially, anyway. So
that's amazing that you were able to find that again and move forward. So from that.
I've been very lucky that way. My wife is a beautiful person. She's as kind could be. When people call here and they need help, my wife has traveled 120 miles to help people. She'll go as far as Woodstock one side, and she's traveled over to Coburg on the other side and help people, drug addicts who needed help. And she'll travel that far. She goes to Haiti. She was to Haiti a few months ago. She was down there for a couple of weeks, 15 days actually helping people. She's a former nurse, and she helped at the hospital there. She also helped build a church and school there, doing her little bit in the labor force there. She's going back in May, end of May, for a couple weeks in the first week of June. Anyway, she's quite a gal. When you know her, when you meet her, you know what I'm talking about. She's a great person.
You love her a lot.
I do love her a lot. I wrote something today on her anniversary cards to my truest friend and true love. She's my truest friend, my best friend, and she is, and I love her dearly.